Good morning and welcome to today's meditation. It is August 20th. I had to stop and think for a minute because time is slipping around now. August 20th, 2025. My name is Jan Jorgensen, and this is the Be the Light meditation that I do every week to help people understand vibration, hold their vibration, and move forward as a person carrying light for the world. So today's topic is light language. And most likely you are a light worker watching this, but perhaps you're not. And you're finding it interesting that you're seeing more and more articles of people talking about light language and using it, but you may not know what it is or why it's important and the role that it is playing in the transformation of our planet from a darker, dense realm into a lighter, higher vibration milieu. So let's just begin with our talk, and then we'll drop into an actual meditation. The Be the Light meditation is 3 distinct steps to drop in, to learn, to hold your vibrational field, to remember, to travel, to relax, whatever you wish. The operative word is intention. We make an intention. So light language. Let me give you an example. We live on a farm now, and there was a little adorable 2.5, maybe 3-year-old girl who came to our property with her daddy in a truck, and she was just as natural and fresh and had the brightest eyes as can be. And she was speaking light language. Light language is what is spoken in all the universal communings, coming and goings, convenings, communications. And on Earth, we have Earth language with different regions developing different cultural communication forms, from the caveman to the guttural to very beautiful articulated languages and dialects. But out here in heaven, light language is spoken, which is much different. And it also has regional, local, expanded, culturally directed dialects. I don't know if you'd call it culture, universal beings. Think of colonies of people living in heavenly spaces, developing their own light language. So this little girl in the truck is babbling light language. And it's funny, my partner said, well, Jan can probably speak to her. So I started speaking to her, and this girl had the deepest eyes. If they say eyes are the window to the soul, she was so awake, so expanded, and her eyes had dancing lights in them, and her eyes were 20 different colors all at once. And her hair is just like this. You could tell this girl loved to play. Her dress was dirty. Nobody was holding this child back from expressing herself. So as we're doing light language together, she blurts out, "You were there when I was born." So light language automatically takes us into an interdimensional realm where you can see and know the movement of different personalities and consciousness. In other words, by our speaking light language, we went into the same communication telephone. We were speaking on our cell phones to each other in a language that we could understand. And because it was elevated out of the human realm, we're able to see and know more. And perhaps I was a guide for newborns to come into this world and to prepare their consciousness for the shock and awe of being in an unheavenly space. So it's very likely. If you're listening to this, you already understand that there are many layers of realities, parallel realities. And no, this is the hard part, they're all simultaneously happening. Only in our limited human perception are things linearly spaced in a historical way. I often say things are just a blink. And it's true. They're a blink. They're a thought away. They are a movement away from our understanding that we are holding a point here and everything is happening in different parallel realities. Okay, so light language is universal. However, it's also specific. And let me tell you why. I'm going to tell you why it's important here now, and we'll talk a little bit about this more later. Before you were born, say this is the little infant here, the manifestation born in earth through your mom. Boom, there you are. Your consciousness resided somewhere else in a very intelligent, staircased heavenly realm. And there is a regional language. And that language exists in remembrance, in your soul, in your DNA. And when that language is spoken to you now, it's like E.T. phone home, and it actually awakens what we call our axiotonal light body, which is simply electromagnetic jungle gym structure that is unique to your own biofield formation. Biofield formation is physical body around a beautiful gym-like jungle gym, sacred geometry structure of sound, light, and color that is a combination of your consciousness up here, your soul information is a combination of your physical body, your parents' DNA, and also your divine lineage. Think about it. You have a family up there. Maybe not quite how we think about it here, a mother and a father who had relations and then born this being from a male-female. There is different ways of creation in different realms in the multiple universes. But you came here, and there is always the opportunity for you, using very simple techniques that I teach you in these Be the Light meditations, to access and hear the language of your home and speak it. Now, why would that be important? Again, it awakens, it ignites, it triggers great movement that you say, oh my God, I am a visitor here. I'm a visitor, and now I have my lifeline phone home, and I know that there is a greater intelligence, a greater skill set, a greater information realm that is all available to my human brain. So it pulls back a curtain, and you are living in a super realm with super knowing, super abilities to morph time and space, make miracles, and use this high vibrational realm of ability to focus and intentionally move things into a better form for Earth through remembering this skill set, and that you hold a very high divine vibration of a specific lineage. So when I say lineage, your family out there could be Pleiadians, Arcturians, Syrians, and there are so many beings or visitors here helping humans get it right by being born into human bodies and holding that consciousness until they won't freak out when they suddenly start pulling back these veils and say, oh my God, there's so much more than they taught us, than my parents or the church. In fact, they kind of held it all back because a lot of these realms really know that we are conscious co-creators with the universal vibrational realms, but that's too dangerous for us to know. So it's kind of like on a need-to-know basis, and you start venturing out, you're on your spiritual path, and you begin to understand and realize, oh my God, I'm from another place. I'm from Sirius. I'm meeting other people who know they're from Sirius, and we are finding a way to confirm our innate, unique gifts based on where we are from. And by sitting and meditating and working together, we remember our mission for being a visitor on earth at this time of great transformation. So this is what is occurring now. I hate it when people say aliens or outer space people. You're simply a visitor here from a heavenly place, slowly but surely understanding that you're not just a human, and that this mind that has been trained to have finite thinking and logic and outcomes and choices is a thing of the past. In fact, it's so mind-blowing when we realize where we are from and learn to speak that language with our other homies visiting here on Earth. We begin to change the brainwaves. You have this science now. Every day on Facebook, they're saying our brainwaves have this beautiful low flow and pulsing that affects other biofields, other humans. So we are affecting other humans with our thoughts, with our intentions, okay? So that's why it's important. So it is to activate our light body, remember who we are, and then to access all of the gifts and use them in like-minded resonant communities. So it took me a long time to learn all this, and most of it was happenstance, or I tripped over it by doing healings with different people who were extremely confused. They'd say, well, I think I'm Christ. Well, it's a fractalized consciousness that is, anyway, there's so much to explain and so many truths that came out of my accidental tourism through the spiritual realm, where I actually had to experience it myself and not think I was crazy, but then explore and find the books and find the master spiritual teacher who could put it all into some coherent form for me to understand and to be even able to work with the voice, with light language for people, and help them understand what it is, to try it, to listen to it, and get activated. So we are remembering, and that little girl in that truck, no one had shut her veils, okay? They just let her babble light language all the time, and she was so connected to heaven. She was fully connected energetically. Every time she did light language, heaven is here in our body. Think about it. You're speaking a heavenly language, and it lifts you, it enlightens you, it lights up, it activates and holds your vibrational field. Now, I know this is true because I've worked through vocal frequency patterns on the voice bio. And if I'm tired, sometimes I'll cheat. First, you have to say, to get your full voice frequency profile of how much energy you have in your body, first you just describe your house unemotional. Then you talk about something that makes you angry, and then you talk about the future. So when I do the future, I speak light language, and all the energy in my body increases and it lifts the whole profile up. So is it cheating? No, because the light language, my inner divine self, is being fluffed, opened, and I'm getting more energy. So that is a good reason. If you have a higher vibrational field, your thoughts magnify more. Your vitality is higher. You don't get old as quick. You're speaking light language. You are making all of your cells vibrate faster, which gets the toxins out, which gets the lymph system going, which reassures your whole body that this place is crummy. Earth is crummy, especially right now. But if you're holding heavenly countenance and vibration, you can breathe and feel safe and feel guarded and feel like your connection, your fuel, that liquid light is coming through you, and you are okay, and you are a weather vane to show others the direction to go. Connect with your heavenly home. Light language is the way to do it. It's how to make the call. So let's talk about light language. What is it? Well, what is light? Light is frequencies, sound, light, and color. Frequencies can have a color, a movement, an intensity. So light language can go through the voice, which has movement, which has air, which can have intensity, which can have emotions, which can have staccatos, fermatas, and move energy. Okay, so I'm speaking my English tongue right now as a Danish, Norwegian, Irish person born in the Northern Americas. With my sensibilities and my body, you are hearing my language through my DNA, through my lineage. But as I meditate and connect with home, even if I'm speaking the English language, it sublimates it and affects others. So even if I think light language, even if I think I'm connected to home, because you can't do light language in the middle of Safeway. I do it in my head, and it's just as powerful. I often do it when I'm driving. I don't know, it's so relaxing. It relaxes your face, your whole body opens up. And I don't know the meaning of the words or the pictures, but I do know the feeling. And the feeling is this: some very, very wise person that loves me and has my well-being in their realm as their intention is coming through me. Think about it. Children do light language, are connected to heaven. I do light language. I'm not going to tell you how old I was. I almost said how old I was, getting up there. But doing light language, I'm connected to heaven. I feel good. The veils are open. We want to keep opening those veils. So these encodements have signatures in them. Signatures, not just through the way that my body, my orifice, my chest, and my physical body is resonating as a holder, but actual encodement, little sigils and signatures are forming. Now, some people have synesthesia and they could watch me talk and see the colors of the frequencies coming out. Some people can see actual geometric structures, because as my mind forms the choice of what I want to say, it is changing and forming reality around me. Rudolf Steiner would say, and he was a great philosopher, anthroposophist who started Waldorf schools, this is what he said. When we speak the consonants, it launches energy, rockets of energy. And when we say the vowels, O, A, E, I, O, it's the planetary forces. Think about that. And then there's the other, mother's milk, mild. Oh, Jupiter, orange, Sagittarius, bringing more abundance in. S, that little scorpion who by his own devious deeds stings himself even. He can be so mean-spirited. But when he ennobles his human soul, rises up and becomes the soaring eagle. So within the consonants are the astrological forces. Within the vowels are the planetary forces and energies. So when we speak with meaning and carefully choosing and allowing the right words to come through, we are a power within the cosmos to shift reality. Think about that. So when I channel or when I do a talk like this, I actually, there's like a figure eight here, and here is Jan's normal consciousness, and up here is that higher consciousness. I open it up, and as I'm speaking to you, I don't know who's going to listen to this. People who may say, this is nuts, turn it off. Others who say, I've waited for a long time for this. So I'm speaking to you. I'm speaking to you. So I get to choose which words, but I choose it not with my will, but with my registering, calibrating towards the listenership. Because it's, remember, it's just a blink. Even if you're listening to this 5 years from now, my body feels and knows which words. It's like ping pong, not ping pong, bingo, okay? And it says, Jan, use this word with the O and choose that, because someone living in India, that will trigger their axiotonal body. That's how channeling works. That's how light language works. You are not just driveling on. You are making an heavenly, divine communication by choosing, letting the words drop down and out through your mouth so that they land, so that they have power, so that they reach into the receivers, your body, and create roots and energize and touch and expand and heal and move and generate positive change within you. So these are all the ways basic language is actually much more magical than you ever imagined. So when you start doing light language, which means you're not stopping it from your logic, that logic of who am I to say this, or what is that word? I don't get it. I sound stupid. You completely let go. You take out your little monkey on your shoulder, that monitoring system that is always questioning. Am I right? Who wants to listen? And is this crazy? Well, what? What will my family think? When you do light language, you let it through so it can be no static in the line. Okay, remember, it is a telephone line. Let it come through. So, light, codes, frequency, the energy formed and sculpted through consonants and vowels. So now you can see how important it is. Now think about this. Think about if you're walking around, say you're 30, 40, 50, 60, or 70, and you think, where am I from? What am I here to do? Well, there is a time clock within yourself when you are ready to hold the bigger picture without cracking up and thinking you're nuts, because this is a lot to hold. Not a lot to hold for that little 3-year-old, because it's natural for her. But for us to understand light language, we have had to hear it for 2 decades. Light language is the same thing as speaking in tongues. It is when you're in a very high vibration, you just let go. Speaking in tongues is light language. When you enter a state of high vibration of ecstasy, the 6th level of light body, okay, everything is a, scale. Light body, you spontaneously start speaking light language. And I was going across the Golden Gate Bridge one day, and I'm going, and I'm going, oh my God, I am blurting out light language. Well, as we drive and move over specific GPS, geographical points on the earth, don't you think that they have energy there? And they might need that light language to come right down in there. So here's the thing. The San Francisco Golden Gate area is what we call a city of light. It is a future mecca for people wanting to work with vibration for healthcare, theatrical arts, and AI. So it makes sense that I entered that field. Remember, it's just a blink, all time and space. I entered the field of that sublime, high vibration city of light that's already there interdimensionally, and I start speaking light language, okay? So then, as time went on, I would do individual sessions with people. And a person would be lying there, and to the degree, again, I'm with them, I merge with their energy field, I can feel if what I'm saying is making them a little scared, where they're going to shut down, go into shock, or kind of dismiss or dissociate. And so sometimes I'll merge with the person and I will sing a lullaby from their great-grandmother. Their great-grandmother comes in and sings, and I was singing a Russian lullaby. I don't know Russian. Turned out this young man was Russian. He needed a little divine feminine energy. But when I work with very advanced people, and they're sitting there saying, Jan, I think I'm from Sirius. And I said, what does that mean to you? Well, I think that's where my greater soul resides. And I was born through my mom and dad sitting here in this body. But what does that mean to me? And I say, well, imagine if you could have a communication with these super intelligent beings, and beings from Sirius are all about severely advanced technological information processes. Think Tesla. And Isis is there, the greatest divine feminine archetype, and that's where the dolphin archetype is from. So think, would you like to merge with, understand, and talk to these very divine high beings? And they say, well, yes, because if that's my family, I'll feel at home there. So we can actually have simple processes using the Be the Light to merge with and melt into the world of the Syrians and see how you made your decision to come down here and be a visitor and assist and support humans through the Syrian gifts. Now, how do I know this works? I was working with a very intelligent scientist one time. She was down in the Silicon Valley area working on cancer genome, and she cracked the code to help prevent cancer or treat cancer. And it was so astounding, and it would have had such an immense change for the pharmaceutical medical establishment that she was fired. They said, well, thank you, but we really don't need that. And I asked her, I said, well, gosh, how did you do that? She says, who said I do it? She says, I meditated, and a princess from the Syrian realm, Sirius, the planet Sirius constellation, different realms there, Sirius A, Sirius B. She says, I meditated, and a Syrian princess came with me off her little ship and wrote and showed me the code to heal human breast cancer. So it's true, it's right. And then I said, well, okay, maybe I can help you understand the language so you can carry. So because I'm a cheerleader for the divine plan, I simply empty my brain and imagine I'm setting up a telephone line and facilitating a conversation. And the Syrian language is very short little clips, like that. And when I say it to a human being carrying Syrian lineage, everything wakes up, they get a chill, they take a deep breath, and they're online. Now, you have to train your body to actually talk. That's called going to the 0 point, stopping your own human thinking. But sometimes it's easier in dreams because we're not in the way with our thinking and our blocking our busy lives. But once you make that connection, phone home, the communication system is set. So I said, well, I have to test this. So I used to do groups at Open Secret Bookstore, and they were very advanced beings. So the different men and women would be sitting on the floor. We had these little K-box, I think we would call what you sit on. And I said, let me do an experiment. Shut your eyes, and I will write down and focus on different people, popcorn style, and I will do light language. And so I had them open their eyes. I said, who was I speaking to first in light language? So remember, it wasn't English. I didn't say their name. And they raised their hands. Nobody else did. Each person's body lit up as I focused on them. And so they knew exactly when in the order I was doing light language. So there is an innate part of us, our own switchboard, that is capable, willing, and able, and waiting for this divine plug-in. So I'm a bit of an operator. Actually, one of my roles is a universal messenger. Help get those messages through. So I'll tell you one more story. There was, and I follow spirit as much as I can. Sometimes it gets a little funny when it runs into real life or other people's expectations. But I had a store that was attracted a lot of spiritually awakening people, and I shared it with these other lovely ladies. It was called the Crystal Chalice in Fairfax, California. I was home a few blocks away having a nap, and it said, get up and go in the store. So I went in there, and there is two delightful musicians, Human and his a percussive player, and I don't remember his name, but he had this interesting nose. He looked like a dolphin. And we started talking, and I said, well, where are you from? He said, Sirius. And I said, it's like I already knew things to tell him about himself. And then I said, you want to hear the language? And so we did Syrian language. He said, I'm very familiar with that language. I meditate, I go there. So I didn't make it up. I felt as if it was shown to me that what I was doing had precision, it had a purpose, and that light language is important. Okay, so I've seen a lot of wonderful leaders in the New Age community who can write light language. And of course, it's geometric forms, it's sigils, Now, sigils aren't just squiggles. Sigils actually hold the vibrational communicative message within it. It emanates sigils. So light language is mostly sigils, and you'll see it's chick, 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 dot, dot, circle, circle, circle. And some people are so tapped in that they can read light language. I can't. What I do is simply open up, I merge with another person, and I let go, and out comes the language. And some of them I'm getting to know. I said, that's an angelic language. Mane lo uti tikilia makare. It's very Hawaiian, Lemurian. It has a beautiful flow, lots of M's, lots of open vowel sounds. I already mentioned the Syrian sound is do, 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 do. Some of them sound very Chinese. And occasionally I will meet a person whose light language is so wild that even with my phonetic and articulation and vocal placement and tongue movement and everything, that I can barely keep up with it because it is so fast and so nuanced with multiple sounds, clicks, and movements everywhere. But I get it close enough. So this is important information about light language. Everyone can do it. Sometimes I'll sit in a circle with women, I'll say, oh, I can't do it, it's silly. And so I'll just begin. I say, pretend you're 3 years old, and we're just doing blah, blah. So they start with blah, blah, and after a while, we dial it in, and they start having feelings. That's how you know that you're getting to your home base. It's like you're being enwrapped, with that little baby blanket of phone home. I feel safe. I'm not floating around on earth. So when you meet other people who are from where you're from, you be there with them, and it strengthens and raises your vibration exponentially. Think about it. Think if you were a little Norwegian child raised in Africa. You just always kind of knew, well, I'm a little bit different. I look different. I don't know, I'm different. I like fish. I like cold fish. I like buffets. I like Nordic music. But also, you like everything around you. So that's your earth experience. But when you take a trip to Norway, or one day I was in the airport and there's Norwegian Airlines, and I'm half Norwegian. I went and stood in line for a minute, and I took a deep breath. I said, these are my people. I could feel, I don't know, so that's how it is. It's a feeling that I'm actually an angel from Solaris Arcturi. Oh my God, feel into that. And I meet other people and I look in their eyes, and occasionally I'll say, you're a golden solar angel from Solaris Arcturi. And they'll say, yes, how'd you know? And I say, you are my beloved. You are my family. You are my tribe. So it is an amazing feeling for bumping up, holding in a reasonable, credible way the craziness of something this far-fetched is really true. It repeats itself. It is, I've checked myself. I have a scientific mind. I'm a registered nurse. And so I have seen all of this. I have seen it on frequency readouts, which are scientific. And I've had many people through these various experimentations help me understand that light language is real and it is important. Now let's go back to why it would be important. Okay, I'm going to give you another little story and example. Then we're going to do a meditation. I was very tired of this earth antics, and I don't like being physically hot. Again, I'm Norwegian, I'm an ice cube. And I said, take me home. I am done here. Take me home. And this never happened, but my consciousness went blah, 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 and I was in heaven. And there's all these gorgeous, glorious colored beings, and they didn't have faces, but it was me. I mean, I was there. It was home. They go, Jan, this is your true home, but you must go back to earth in your Jan body because your bigger work hasn't even started. People aren't ready yet. They're not ready. This was about 10 years ago. They're a little bit more ready now. They said, we want you to go back in the tent. I was camping, and I said, okay. Went back in my body. My eyes are shut. And these beautiful angelic beings said, Jan, can you still hear us? I said, yes, like I'm still here. And they said, can you still have your angel powers of knowing, healing, moving energy around? I said, well, I guess. They said, open your eyes. They said, now are you still here with us? I said, wait a minute. Are you saying there's a big part of me still in heaven? I'm here. Am I in both places at once? They said, only in your limited perception will you ever separate. So that gives you a pretty big toolkit. So if I ever doubt, if my Jan, human self, begins to doubt herself, I say, take a breath. I squeeze my thighs and I say, okay, what does my bigger counterpart see? How can my bigger counterpart not contract or be in fear? How can I say and be and do things which will help humans, which will be of the greatest service? And that is, to me, the greatest thing that you can do for Earth, for your family, for yourself right now, is to be that being, that benevolent, loving being who has a lot of power and will let the human self begin to get comfortable and use the powers for good, for goodness, for truth, beauty, love, and goodness here on this earth. And that's the story of how Earth got transformed. That is the divine plan. Send a bunch of visitors here from very amazing, amazing universal cultures. Take an oath to come here, be born, forget you're a divine being, and have this human body. Then to bit by bit pull back the veils, because people like Jan are universal messengers and a lot of light workers, and say, oh my God, I am a visitor here. I'm a divine being. I've got kind of some superpowers. Okay? That's how the earth is getting shifted. Through you. If you're listening to this, you're a visitor here from a heavenly realm. And light language is one of the ways. Okay? Let's do a meditation. Take a deep breath through your nose and out through your mouth. I am using these words to command this reality now, to say, we ask and intend to set a sacred space. We place a beautiful holon of balance, a geometric structure that fits all that is over our body, our biofield. Only energies of the highest light may be in this space now. Just allow yourself to relax and let go with no thoughts, zero thoughts. In this moment, open your ears and imagine that a beautiful fiber optic communication light tube is going from your place up in heaven down into your ear here. You're the ground team. Take a breath, and even if you can't hear it yet, just a whisper, let that light language flow in. And I will do some various light language flows. Burinili kuriatushkitiandariataka. Onilele indi Muli evirushkrima tivi eletututi shinkaitir. Beautiful. Just let whatever resonated sink in, make the connection. And I'm going to invite you, I'm going to finish up now this talk on light language. I invite you to take a rest, shut your eyes, and lie down for a few minutes to absorb this and let it reside in your consciousness and your subconsciousness and mainly your heart. Nice deep breath in, deep breath out. Thank you for joining me. I'm Jan Jorgensen at soundandlighthealingarts.com doing this free meditation every Wednesday morning. Thank you.